Hi guys, and welcome to the Mirror Gaming walkthrough today, the 30th of August, meaning we are just a couple of days away from Starfield early access opening. We have our very own Scott McCrae here today, who actually played a Starfield demo at Gamescom, which I'm sure he will be excited to talk about. Along with, has Gamescom revived our hopes for games this year? Let's find out. And we'll also be speaking about Hyenas, a new extraction shooter game which is coming from Creative Assembly. But before that, here are the credits.
Are you prepared to go public with your KD online or
no?
Everyone thinks he or she is the best football expert on the planet.
You see it in the back page of the Mirror, deal agreed.
I think the most important thing is just to have fun. What?
310?
No, what button is it?
Well, hello.
We're ready to come for the W, yeah?
Ooh, 12.
Ooh, here we go. If you can master Second Man Press, you will defend 10 times better.
Today I'm going to be reviewing the PSVR 2 headset.
Hello?
Hi everybody.
Hello.
My name is Jasmine and I'm your host today on the Mirror Gaming walkthrough. I'm joined by Matt, our creative producer, who may be having some technical issues as he typically does whenever we're streaming. I don't know if he can hear us, but Matt, if you're there, say hi in spirit at the bare minimum.
Can you hear me at least?
We can hear you, yeah.
We've got kind of a creepy look going on here. It's just like you sitting like this.
It's trying. I'll go out and come back in.
Okay.
Well.
We've also got Scott, our gaming freelance news writer, here today, who was at Gamescom for us last week, so he's finally back this week. How are you doing, Scott?
I'm as tired as I look.
You don't look that tired. I think you're being a bit of a drama queen.
Oh no, I got a few. Oh, you look so tired, and I'm like, thanks for telling me I look horrid. But
yeah, that
I
would
like
actually
that,
that'd be the final straw for me. Yeah. So before we get into it, how was Gamescom? Give us the scoop. How was everything?
Busy, sweaty, anxiety-inducing, but also
just as you'd expect from one of the biggest gaming events. I want to say in the world, but maybe just Europe.
Now that E3's dead, yes, it's the biggest in the world.
It's huge, and I'm really upset I wasn't there actually.
Yeah, no, it's a good time. I don't know. I'm not used to this type of thing. That's the first one I went to, so took some getting used to. By the end of every day, I was knackered, but you got to go out and chat to people, network, as they say. But pretty good, I guess. At least they had good games this year.
Yes.
If I'd went over there and it was just like nothing of note, I'd probably come back a bit less
disappointed, miserable, sad. Yeah, I can imagine. That leads us on to the first topic I wanted to speak about, Starfield. As we know, Starfield is releasing on early access this Friday for those who pre-ordered the premium edition of the game. And then Wednesday the 6th, which is next week, is when we will be having regular access open for our players that pre-ordered the standard edition and those who will be accessing the game through Game Pass. At Gamescom, Scott was lucky enough to see a demo of the game. He has written up how that demo went over on miro.co.uk/gaming if you want to go and read that. Be warned, it has some spoilers in it. If you're not looking for spoilers for the game, then probably don't go and read that. But Scott, I want to throw it back over to you. As spoiler free as you can, please. How did you find the demo of the game? Because from what I read, it was mainly just a walkthrough of what the opening sort of story was rather than actual gameplay, if that's correct. How did you find that?
Pointless, I guess, is the best way to put it. It was a trimmed down version of the opening 20 minutes or so of the game. I say trimmed down as in like there were some cuts. It wasn't like here's direct gameplay. Oh, there's loads of stuff in my camera away. Sorry. There wasn't direct gameplay. There wasn't you know, it was a video. You know, it had been filmed. There was no glitches. There was no unexpectedness. It was just, here's the first 20 minutes of Starfield as you will see it on Friday. But
I actually wasn't aware that it was a video that had been filmed, so
Yeah.
they just played you a video.
yeah, no one was playing Starfield at the show. It
Interesting.
was literally a pre-taped version. Because when they got to like the character creation, it was like, you know, they sped through it. They just showed a bunch of like random, you know, clicking the random button like 5 or 6 times to show off how in depth the character creator is, and then you know, got through it. But I just don't see the point. Like, the game's out in a week. So, people who were there have played that section of the game already. But I don't know, why would you want to watch the first 20 minutes of a game? But then again, how do you show off a 20-minute slice of that game? Is my kind of question. Like,
Yeah.
that game is pretty big from the sounds of things. Not really something you can kind of, you know, show off.
I think
like
the
a
thing is with
small vertical
Starfield
slice.
is that we haven't seen a lot of the story yet, right? So we know all of this. Oh, it's going to have 1,000 planets. Oh, it's going to be like a single player exploration game similar to Fallout. But we haven't really seen what the story is going to entail. So now that Matt's back and hopefully not having technical difficulties anymore, what is your opinion on Starfield, Matt? I know that you've had mixed opinions here and there over the course of the year. Final decision now, because it's coming in a week. Are you going to play it?
I've pre-installed it.
Already? Interesting.
Of course I've got to play it. But I keep going from like, I'm really excited about it. I see like some of the gunplay and the like the action in it, and I'm like, oh, that looks so good. And then I hear other things about it that I'm like, oh, that might ruin the whole thing for me. It's like, an example would be like, you see some of the action and great, I'm like, really excited, and then I hear you can't explore the planets on anything but your feet and a booster pack, and then I'm like, that might be a bit and then I see some more of the story, and I'm like, oh, this looks good. And then I hear like, oh, and you know that thing about the walking, well, apparently it's only going to be like in 45-minute sort of, you can only explore on foot, but for like 45-minute, a 45-mile radius or 45-minute like radius or something like that. I like, it's going to basically be restricted. So I keep going back and forth. Basically, I keep going back and forth between what I am excited about and what I'm not. So I'm now at the point where I'm just like, I'm numb to it until I play it.
Can I ask, are you a Game Pass subscriber?
I am, yeah.
Oh, okay, so you haven't paid.
So
the
it's
game.
not, yeah. So I haven't like bought the game. I think if I had to, if I had to buy the game, I wouldn't, because there's
Right.
You know, there's games, albeit for better or worse, there's games that are coming out that I know I'm committed to buying. So
yeah, Scott made a face there. Scott made a face when you said you wouldn't buy it. Would you buy it, Scott, if you weren't a Game Pass subscriber? No. I don't think I would either.
I've tried every single one of these Bethesda games, and I like Fallout. I think Elder Scrolls is kind of not good. I was going to say a much worse word there, but let's just say kind of not good is a polite way. So, you know, I don't really see myself, you know, loving this one as much, especially when there's like more exciting stuff out, like Armored Core's just come out, Lies of P's coming out in like a week, Starfield's not Starfield, what's the other one? Cyberpunk, that's the one. That's coming out in like, or the DLC for that's coming out in like 2-3 weeks or something like that.
Yeah,
basically now is the point where stuff's starting to come out, and there is one, stuff I care about more, two, I haven't finished Zelda yet, so I can't exactly, you know, jump into a massive RPG. Same reason I didn't really play much of Baldur's Gate after we finished the stream.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. Like I there's so much coming out or about to come out that it's not top of my list. I know it's top of some people's lists, Nathan. But
Shade.
but and you know, like people like what they like, but it's just not. It's not at the top of my priority list in terms of what I would want to play. So it's got the potential to surprise me, or it's got the potential to draw me in, but I'm just so unsure about the pros versus the cons and whether or not I'm going to have the attention span for it. For one,
I think the only reason I'm playing it is FOMO. I'll be honest. I'm worried that everyone's going to play it and like be like, oh my god, yeah. Even if they're not like talking about how good it is, they'll be talking about it, right? Even if it's terrible, they'll be talking about how bad it is. And then I'll feel like really left out if I didn't play it. And I also can't be like, yeah, I thought Starfield was crap too. You know, like I want to be involved in the conversation. I think that's like 90% of the reason I'm playing it.
Yeah, a little bit me as well, I'd say. But I also sometimes I think when a game's released, you can get swept up in if it's a good release and it's not chaotic like they have been in the past. You get swept up in that initial sort of buzz, and then that can sort of spur you on to really enjoy the game. But sometimes when you don't catch that like moment, I mean, I've got it with loads of games that have come out that I've never caught the moment with that I now, if I go and try and play them, I just don't think they're good. And they're hot takes, but it's just because I never got swept up in that like sort of cultural moment. So I feel like this potentially could do that, but I'm skeptical. But it's such a huge release that it could do. So I kind of don't want to miss out on that.
Yeah.
That sort of potential. So just in case, yeah, I'm probably going to play it like sort of at least for a week when it drops.
There has to be a lot of people that are playing it just in case, similar to we are, especially considering it's day one on Game Pass. You're not having to like pay 50, 60 quid for it.
I'm more excited for the like 3 months down the line reviews or the 6 months down the line reviews, because like Fallout 4 when it came out, people were raving about it. You know, like people were like, "Oh my god, this is the best game!" I'm pretty sure it won Game of the Year awards. It was nominated for Game of the Year awards in a year that had like Metal Gear Solid 5 and The Witcher 3, which are like, you know, I mean, I don't know about The Witcher 3, but Metal Gear Solid 5 is a masterpiece. And Fallout 4 was winning. And then about 6 months later, I was like, "Oh yeah, Fallout 4 was a bit crap, wasn't it?" You know, I'm excited to see how the kind of culture goes
when
with it.
people leave the bubble.
Yeah. Fallout is a perfect example. I tried to play it last year, and I'd never played it, and I just didn't like it. I didn't like get anything from it. It just was like, yeah.
I've never really been into those types of games. So like I don't know if me and you are quite similar in this sense, Matt. Is that I mainly play multiplayer games, right? Yeah. I mainly play multiplayer games, online games. I have the odd single player game where I'm like, oh yeah, that's like, maybe I'll give that a go. But typically these big open world exploration games aren't really ever my cup of tea. And I just don't ever feel like I've got.
I don't ever feel like I've got the attention span. Like if
I get bored really quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah, there needs to be some type of competitive element when I'm playing a game. Otherwise, I don't have a drive.
It doesn't necessarily have to be competitive for me.
Really?
It just has to be something.
I've seen your TikToks. I see how competitive you get.
Oh yeah, like I get, yeah, of course, when I'm playing a competitive game, but like there just has to be something that wants to spur me on. Like that, you know, it could be how, like, you know, level progression, skills progression, like stuff like that. It could be anything like that, but unless there's something frequent to sort of like spur me on to the next thing, I lose interest too quickly.
I'm the same.
Yeah, I can't help it. It's just the way I am.
I think that's weird as well, because Scott is like the polar opposite, where he doesn't really enjoy multiplayer games as much, and he's way more into these sort of like single player games.
I like open world single players when they're good, which is a very specific.
But what makes it good for you?
Yeah, what would
what's good?
like, let's take Assassin's Creed or Horizon Zero Dawn, right? It's an open world game. You've got 600 markers on the map that are like, go do this, go do this, go do this. And it's just very linear despite being an open world. That's crap. I don't like that. Other than Spider-Man, because that has the fun swinging, but like, even then,
I
it's not
quite like
amazing.
Spider-Man as well, actually.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
I
I'd say that was-
like,
It's
again,
like-
I got bored quite quickly, so.
Yeah, it's
Carry
like
on.
basic open world design, but I mean, it has the swinging, so it's like, okay, cool. And it had a very good story. But like something like Metal Gear Solid 5 or Elden Ring or Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, where you're put into an open world and that's it. I mean, Metal Gear Solid 5, it's like mission to mission, but even then, you get put into the mission zone and that's it. You're not told, you know, go here and shoot this guy now, and then you can go to the next set piece. It's in Metal Gear Solid 5, if you want to snipe your target from the start of the mission and then haul ass, you're fine. If you want to go in, sneak in, strap a C4 to his back and wait for him to meet up with another sub-target and then blow them both up, that's fine. If you want to ram a car into them, that's fine, you know? Whereas it's something like, obviously this isn't the case for Starfield. Starfield is one of these, but in the case of like Assassin's Creed, it's like, or even Red Dead Redemption, which they make very good worlds, they don't make very good missions, where it's like they want you to do this specific thing in this specific way. That's a waste of an open world. So like Starfield does have
it
that
definitely
going for
defeats
it.
the purpose of open world, right? You're meant to be able to go wherever and do whatever, and then following a very strict storyline is like boring. So
Yeah, but like I'm between those two things where I kind of need to be told what to do. But then
I hate it. I hate being
but
told
then
what
I
to do.
don't but then I don't like it, because then if I decide to do something slightly differently and it's like you failed the mission, I'm like, well, I didn't, did I? Like, I didn't. I just didn't do it the way you wanted me to do it, and then I get angry at that. So I'm like, I can't win, like whichever way I go.
I think like at the start, I want some direction because I hate being plopped in and having no idea what to do. So I need like some element of like tutorial missions to begin with. After that, I want to be left alone. Don't start sending people into my face telling me go here, go there, and have some man standing in the way of me going to a certain location because I haven't done a certain mission. That's not what open world is. I don't want to have to sit there unlocking parts of the world, unlocking parts of these 1,000 planets that Starfield supposedly has. I want to just get in my spaceship and fly wherever I want to fly, and then eventually I'll probably get bored, but that's what I want to do. That's how I want to play the game, and I feel like that should be allowed,
Like
given how they're marketing it.
Doing it naturally in a way, like in Fallout, if you go into this area, here's a death claw that will kill you in one hit. In Elden Ring, here's a boss that will kill you in one hit.
Yeah.
That way, you know, people who want to go there can still go there, and sure, they'll probably get rocked, but like, you know, that's the way. Like, it's telling.
Yeah, it's not
Or
physically
no, it's not
stopping
telling.
me.
Sorry, it's showing, not telling. You know, it's like
Yeah, exactly.
you can't
I
cross
can
this
appreciate
bridge
that.
in GTA yet. No, it's you can go here if you want, but you're going to get killed. You know.
Yeah.
So, which Starfield does have going for it, I should add. But like, I don't know what it is about those games. Sometimes it's the combat, which it seems to have better combat than the other ones, because like, for a game about swords and shields like Skyrim, it has some of the absolute worst melee combat probably in any game. It is flimsy, it is weightless, and obviously that's not the point of Skyrim. But when like a core mechanic is off like that, that's kind of where it gets me, which might be the problem I have with like other ones. Like, because I like Fallout more, the shooting's okay, you know. But to be honest, I don't know what it is about those games, but other than the combat, which is terrible. But I mean, I like multiplayer games. I like a decent amount of multiplayer games. I liked some multiplayer games that I played at Gamescom. If you wanna move on to the next topic, it's a very good segue for you.
Okay, do you know what? I wasn't going to, but because you set up such a brilliant segue for me, and I love criticizing Nathan's segues normally, I feel like I need to grab this opportunity and say that our lovely own Scott McCrae was at Gamescom, and in my opinion, I think that Gamescom has actually revived our hope for games this year after a pretty devastating, in my opinion, please don't attack me, Summer Games Fest. We saw some amazing games showcased at Gamescom, both throughout the opening night live and on the show floor. Scott and Aaron Potter, our other lovely gaming content creator, put together a lovely list of their favourite indie games that were on the show floor, with mentions of Pepper Grinder, Post Trauma, and Deep Rock Galactic Survivor. And we saw some bigger names at Gamescom this year, including Tekken 8, Sonic Superstars, Cyberpunk Phantom Liberty DLC, Mortal Kombat 1, Modern Warfare 3. And even though we knew a lot of these games were coming already, it was nice to see some newer content / trailers for them come up. So I'm going to throw this question up in the air for whoever wants to chip in. What was your guys' opinions on the games that we saw at Summer Games Fest earlier in this year? And do you agree with me in saying that Gamescom has sort of brought a nice round out to the rest of the year for games coming out now? I feel like I was a bit disappointed earlier in the year, and now I'm a bit happier. But I don't think that opinion is actually the standard, because as Scott mentioned earlier on, before the podcast, he said to me, actually, this year's been a great year for games, thank you very much, and decided to correct me. So what do you guys think?
I'm looking forward to. I actually downloaded Alan Wake, right? Because I've never played it and never even heard of it until a few weeks ago, and then I saw the trailer for Alan Wake 2 and was like, "Oh, looks good." So I want to play the first one. So I'm literally playing that tonight. I'm starting it tonight. So that's actually got me really excited. But I think it's kind of like movies. It's like some years it feels like, because there haven't been many big blockbusters, it feels like it's been a terrible year for gaming. But for movies, sorry. But actually there's loads of gems in there. I feel like although we've had some big games come out this year, like really big games come out this year, in the sort of weeds, there's still quite a few games I feel like are quite exciting, and yeah, I do think I am with you though. I do feel like earlier in the year I was a little bit lost with what do I want to play, like what am I actually excited about.
That's exactly what I felt like.
Figure it out.
Yeah.
And now I feel like Alan Wake 2 is like, I'm looking forward to that. Like that's kind of. But I've got to get the time in on the first one because I've never played it. So, yeah. So I do feel like it's rounded out quite nicely.
Go on, Scott. Tell me I'm wrong. Go for it.
I thought some of the Summer Games Fest stuff was cool. Like, I thought Nintendo's Direct was very good. I thought the Xbox show had a lot of good stuff in it. But the actual Summer Games Fest showcase I thought was kind of mince. I mean, Gamescom was just a lot of like stuff we already knew about, but it was nice to get like now we know when Tekken 8's coming out. Now we know when Persona 3 Reload's coming out. Now we know when Sonic Superstars is coming out. So like, it was good in that sense, even if there wasn't much,
I just want to say, I know that this isn't really a game people are talking about too much compared to the other games, but when they opened that showcase with Little Nightmares 3, I was so happy. And the fact that it's going to be co-op, I'm so happy about that, because I love my multiplayer games and I hate horror games, but Little Nightmares is like that perfect balance of like horror but not too scary, horror but there's still something else to pay attention to, like puzzles and stuff like that you can do. So I love it. The fact that it's co-op, so now I don't have to play it by myself, because that's the only thing that puts me off of the first two, where I get a bit too scared and stop playing halfway through. So excited for that, and I haven't seen too many people talking about that, and I'm really upset actually.
Okay,
so
I was just double checking that I could say this. On the first day after opening night live, I was at the Bandai Namco booth and they showed off about 20 minutes of Little Nightmares.
I'm so jealous. I'm so jealous. I can't believe that. Oh no. Why are you making that face? Oh no, was it bad?
It depends. It's not bad. I'm sure people will love it. But to me, I wasn't as impressed as some other people were. I think it looks like a good game. I think it looks like a good co-op game, but I'm not yet seeing like what the kind of new is, if you get me. Like, if you've played any of these
No.
kind of co-op platformers, like It Takes Two or something like that, there was a lot of stuff in there that they showed us that was like, oh yeah, one player will hold the rope while the other player stands on the platform that will raise them up on the rope. Stuff like that. So I'm sure it'll be good, but I wasn't blown away by it.
I
But
want
then
you to know
again,
you've ruined my day.
no,
don't deserve
I
that.
mean, if you like Little Nightmares 1 and 2 and wanted them co-op, I'm sure you will like this. It looks like Little Nightmares 1 and 2. It's just, as a co-op game, I kind of need to see more in terms of, like, you know, novel ideas, because where it's at now, it just kind of looks like a co-op game.
Scott, I hate you. I can't believe you've done this. I hate you. I'm so upset.
I've never even said it was. It's happening again, where I'm not saying something's bad. I'm just saying.
I know, but you've still got like negative opinions of it, and it's making me
No, I don't have
upset.
negative opinions of it. I think it looks like a good game. I just think it doesn't seem to be doing much new that hasn't been done before in like kind of co-op games.
You don't
That's
always need that though. I guess you don't always need that.
I think there's
I
only
know,
so
but-
much new stuff you can do in a platformer. It's the same sort of thing, right? In a co-op platformer especially, it's like, oh yeah, one person needs to get the platforms there and the other person needs to jump on them, but oh no, you need to make sure you can trust the other person because they can pull the platform away from right underneath your feet, and then whoever you're playing with like trolls you for 10 minutes and doesn't let you go across the gap.
I will
that you need to
also
get across.
say the Little Nightmares art style just rubs me the wrong way, and I
Oh,
know
I
it's
love
intentional,
it. I
but
love
I
it.
hate the way Little Nightmares. I hate the character models. I hate the way they look.
I
There's
love it.
something
I think it's
so-
great.
There's something so gross about them.
That's the
There's a-
point. That's
There's
the
a
point. They're
giant
meant to
evil
look
baby
gross.
in this one.
Yeah, they're meant to look gross.
And the
right?
guy taking the demo, he kept saying like Master Baby, but the character's called Monster Baby. But I thought he kept saying Master Baby, so I'm just in the back of the demo room like giggling because I keep thinking of the Boss Baby, and I keep thinking about how much funnier the game would be if the Boss Baby was there. But yeah, no, Little Nightmares 3 looks cool. I just hope it has something new to bring.
I think that's fair enough.
My assumption of it, but then again, I'm not as much of a big fan of the first two Little Nightmares games as you lot seem to be. So
I like the way you said you lot, even
I
though Matt's
mean,
not said
yeah,
anything.
I've never played it. Like, I've never
Matt,
played it. I'm just
the
I'm trying to
well-known-
mediate to trying
You
to
haven't
protect
mediated
Jasmine's
anything either.
feelings.
You've just like.
I just
well-known Little Nightmares fan Matt is going to be
Yeah.
for this one.
can't get enough of it. Just always talking about it.
What have you been excited for from Gamescom, Matt, if anything?
Well, obviously, apart from Alan Wake 2, but I think Payday 3 looks good. It looks up my street. I'm kind of like excited about. Well, I say excited. I'm looking forward to checking that out because I haven't
Same.
again. I haven't played any of the Paydays either. I'm just such a bad gamer in terms of I've not played any games.
You played one game for
One game
millions and trillions
for
of
ages.
hours.
Yeah, and that's it. That's it. But it seems right up my street, and I'm looking like from what I've seen of what people have said, people that have sort of previewed the game and whatnot. It looks like they're gonna do well with it. So.
That was an Aaron appointment. I didn't take that one, so I'm afraid I can't add anything more to it. But you can see his write-up
Unfortunately, our
on
good old Aaron
mirror.co.uk.
Potter is not here this week. He's away
I
on
think we've
holiday.
actually got a video about it going out soon as well
Oh,
today on
plug
YouTube.
Plug it, guys. Plug it.
So yeah,
Subscribe to the Mirror Gaming YouTube channel if you want to see that video later on this evening after the podcast. My friends recently got into playing Payday 2 a lot because it was free on Epic Games a little while back, but I missed the redemption window, and then I was like, oh guys, I might as well just buy it. You guys are all playing it. They were like, no, stop, Payday 3's coming out, save your money for Payday 3. And I didn't even know Payday 3 was coming out. I started looking at the trailers and I'm well excited for it. It looks like one of those perfect games for me and my friends to be obsessed with for a week and then never touch again afterwards. I'm so excited for that.
I'm excited for Mortal Kombat 1 as well.
Same.
Yeah.
Same. I'm a big Mortal Kombat fan. But I think that there has been quite a few. I feel like I'm going to have my fighting game fix by sort of next year because we've got Street Fighter 6 came out earlier this year, which I absolutely love. We are having Mortal Kombat 1 coming out now, and then we've got Tekken 8 coming in January. And I feel like
we've also got Grand Blue Fantasy versus Relink. Not Relink. Grand Blue Fantasy versus something. That's the new
something.
Ah,
I can't remember.
Yeah.
Basically,
that one. Yeah.
It's like a re-release of Grand Blue Fantasy versus, but I've forgotten what it's called. Rising.
Fantastic.
That's it.
Okay. Yeah, we're having quite a big fighting game fix this year, and I feel like most people that are into fighting games have the one franchise that they're a bigger fan of as opposed to the other ones. I'm big on Mortal Kombat. Scott's big on Street Fighter. You know, like, so it's a nice sort of time of competition. But I will say, I think by the time Tekken 8 comes out, I'm gonna be like bored of fighting games because I'm not too big of a fighting game fanatic, I wouldn't say. So I think I am going to be a bit yawn by the time Tekken 8 comes out. I don't know.
There's a good
to say.
There's a good 6 months gap between good fighting games. You know, you have Mortal Kombat in the middle there, but you know, you have Street Fighter and then you have Tekken.
Oh right, don't you start. I think Mortal Kombat 1 looks really good. I think it looks really good.
I will
Even
enjoy the
though
story
you don't
modes.
like Mortal Kombat games, that much, you have to admit, from what we've seen so far, it's looking good.
Do I?
Yeah, you do.
It's
not
the
an
only
opinion.
one-
This one's a fact.
Am I the only one on the podcast who has played Mortal Kombat 1?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you play the beta?
Am I the only one in Mortal Kombat on the podcast who plays fighting games a lot?
I play fighting games.
A lot?
Not as much as you, but I was big
Tekken.
on.
I played Tekken in an arcade once when I was 15.
There you go. You got
I played a lot of Mortal Kombat 10 and 11. I didn't really play any other fighting games in that era. But yeah, I was big on Mortal Kombat 10 and 11. I think that's why it's got a place in my heart. It's because it was like kind of my entry to gaming, which is so weird to say. Mortal Kombat 10 was my entry to gaming. But when that came out, I was like 10 years old, I think. So that was like what got me into PC gaming. Don't make that face. When did Mortal Kombat 10 come out? Like 2011,
15.
right?
No, that was Mortal Kombat 9 in 2011.
Oh, then it was Mortal Kombat 9 that I was into.
That one's good. I like that one.
Mortal Kombat 9 got me into PC gaming, and then Mortal Kombat 10 and 11 I played as well. So I think that's why I'm obsessed with, like, yeah, I love Mortal Kombat. It makes me feel a bit nostalgic and stuff, the same way that all of the Nintendo people feel about Zelda. You know, like, it doesn't matter if it's bad, they're going to love it anyway. So that's what I feel like with Mortal Kombat.
Mortal Kombat 9 was my introduction to fighting games. That was the first fighting game I really got into, and then I found better ones, I guess is the way to put it. I love Mortal Kombat the same way I love Sonic, even if I think half of the games are kind of I love it. Like, I love the world of Mortal Kombat. I love the lore of Mortal Kombat. I love how stupid Mortal Kombat gets. But I just don't enjoy those games mechanically anymore. Like, it's all very, I don't know, again, it would need to be like something you'd need to like look at side by side, but like Mortal Kombat characters, they move in a very like, you know, like you'll do a punch and you'll go like that. But then
I don't think I'm good enough at any fighting game to care about mechanics. I think that's what it is.
But it's like it's like so stiff. It's like they'll punch like that, and then they'll like suddenly they're like that. It's like so robotic looking.
I like seeing
and
Scott reenacting Mortal Kombat.
It's
fighting
like
moves.
a kind of, I believe they call it like dial-a combo. It's like a kind of like such a weird, clunky feeling in Mortal Kombat games. Whereas like, you know, in Street Fighter it's very smooth. You know, it's very like the animation is very.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember when I played Tekken in that arcade. I genuinely remember it feeling like when Tekken first came out, like it feeling like really cool, like the movements.
From
were
that one time you played it in the arcade, you remember this?
Oh, I lived in a seaside town, in a seaside town, and we had arcades everywhere. So I was always playing Tekken.
Okay.
In the arcade.
Oh, so it wasn't you. I thought you played it one time in an arcade.
It was just a joke. But I didn't have a console, so the only thing I could do is go to the arcade and play games. So a lot of the games, like that I played when I was a kid were me going to the arcade and actually playing them. And I remember when they got the Tekken machine, and it was like, I just remember it feeling cool and more fluid. Obviously now it probably doesn't pan out like that, but I get what you mean. I do get what you mean about like having like that sort of.
I feel like you need to get an arcade stick to play Mortal Kombat when it comes out.
Yeah, maybe I should.
Just to
Mortal
replicate
Kombat's
that
not
nostalgic feeling. I know. Look, here's Mr. Fighting Game Expert is going to start saying that
No,
arcade
I'm just
sticks probably
saying-
aren't very good. I'm just talking about nostalgia here.
Mortal Kombat's not really a stick game. Tekken
Here we
apparently
go.
is, but I don't play Tekken with stick. I cannot. I don't understand how people can play Tekken with stick. But Mortal
Do you play
Kombat
Street
really-
Fighter with stick?
It depends. During Street Fighter 4 I did. Street Fighter 5 I didn't have one from PS4, so I had to use pad, and since then I've just kind of adapted to pad. So for Street Fighter 6 I use pad when I play Zangief, but if I play E-Honda I switch to stick. So it's like it's just how the game feels. Like Marvel vs. Capcom, I like using stick, but like Tekken I don't like using stick. And Mortal Kombat doesn't really work with stick because there's a
I've heard the
block
word
button.
stick so many times it's starting to not feel real.
Because there's the block button, Mortal Kombat doesn't work as well with stick, I find. Which also, I hate the block button. The block button's so dumb.
See, I'm not good enough at fighting games to feel these issues, because I genuinely still haven't got past the point of, as soon as I have a little bit of panic in me, I just start button mashing. And I know combos in obviously, like, I've played Mortal Kombat, the older ones, for ages now, that I know most of the combos. I've played so much Injustice 2 that I know the combos, but you'll never catch me using them because I start panicking and I just start pressing every single button that's there, and I just can never get past that block. So I think that's why, for me, when people start talking about fighting game mechanics, I don't care about that. I just want it to look good. I want it to have a nice story. I think the graphics are so important to me. I love Mortal Kombat because of the fatalities. Like, it's so easy to be drawn towards those types of things when you're not good at the games. And then you don't start worrying about, oh my god, the block button this. Oh my god, the punch feels clunky.
It's the same with anything. Like, the more involved you get with it, the more the little
you start
things
looking
start
at those
annoying you.
little details.
But you could argue that the mechanics of how characters move is not a little thing. But
Also, historically, Mortal Kombat's like a zoners game. Like, there's a lot of characters who do really well in Mortal Kombat whose strategy is you will jump to the other side and you will spam projectiles, which is a valid strategy. You know, I'm not going to be one of those people like, I hate zoners. Zoners are the worst. I don't like fighting them, but, like, you know, as a valid strategy, Mortal Kombat's always been very zoner focused. Whereas I play grapplers, which are the polar opposite. You know, up close, grab the person, do lots of damage. And they've never made a good grappler character, and that's my biggest thing with Mortal Kombat and all that. And
so you like a specific class of character, and they don't really have that in Mortal Kombat. That's
I like I like methodical characters. I'm into more of a like footsies game. Like, I really like Samurai Showdown, where, like, you know, you can be dead in like 3 hits in Samurai Showdown. You know, whereas Mortal Kombat's a lot of, like, you know, running about and using really long strings and using like zoning techniques. So it's like it's not a Mortal Kombat is bad. It's just Mortal Kombat is not the type of fighting game I like to play. I do like the stories. I still play the story mode every time. I really like the story mode every time, but yeah, no, I don't know.
We've spoken about fighting games for quite a while here. Yeah. Another game I want to speak about is Sonic Superstars. I don't know. I haven't heard a lot about this game either, similar to Little Nightmares. But I am so excited for Sonic Superstars. As soon as I saw that, it was like, okay, this is my childhood. It feels like when I used to sit and play the Sega Mega Drive with my little sister. It's my first ever console. And I used to just play Sonic the Hedgehog on there for ages and ages. And one of the whole things that I used to always find with Sonic the Hedgehog is that I didn't know where I was going ever in any of the levels, and I got lost all the time. And it feels like Sonic Superstars is doing that exactly. And my little sister was so young, she'd always be lost, and I'd never tell her where to go, so I could always win. That's it. I'm looking forward to Sonic Superstars for that exact same reason. Having another multiplayer Sonic game in the style of classic Sonic, I'm really looking forward to that. And I know Scott's a big Sonic fan as well, so I don't know if he's looking forward to it though.
I played it as well.
Oh.
That was embargoed until Tuesday, but I did play it.
Oh.
It feels right.
Give us the scoop.
It feels, so they did Sonic 4, which was a kind of let's go back to the classics, and it just fell off. And then obviously they did Sonic Mania, which was just a Mega Drive game. Like, it was the same graphics, same kind of, it was very intentionally trying to be a Mega Drive game. But what Sonic Superstar seems to be doing is like a new Super Mario Brothers kind of thing, where like it's all new stuff, but it's still like familiar enough that you still recognize it as an old Sonic game. Like, it feels like those old Sonic games. Like, the physics are the same, the kind of layouts are very similar, and they seem to be doing a good job of it. Like, I only get to play 2 or 3 levels, and also in my demo it was me and one of the other guys were playing solo, and then there was a co-op booth as well, so I didn't play any of the co-op, so I can't even speak to that. But I mean, it seems like a good Sonic game. It seems like a Sonic game. They're trying to move on, because a lot of Sonic games, I said this in my preview, a lot of Sonic games love to like reuse levels. Like Green Hill Zone, I think, has been in the last like 5 or 6 Sonic games have had Green Hill Zone in them. So it feels like they're ready to move on. Whether it stands a chance against Super Mario Bros. Wonder, which is out, I believe, 2 days later.
Oh, I don't think it will. I don't know. I feel like Sonic has now stopped competing with Mario. I feel like Mario's in a whole league of its own now. It's been years since I've seen competition. I think Mario won the Olympic Games, I will say. Did you play a lot of Sonic games back in the day, Matt? I say back in the day, like you're like 100 years old, sorry.
Back in my day, I
never heard you mention Sonic games.
I have played them. The only time I ever played them was when I'd go to my dad's, because my parents lived in different places. So I go to my dad's, and my stepbrother had a Mega Drive, and I'd play when I was there. So I didn't play that often. I played it enough to know what it feels like and all that sort of stuff. But
do you think you'd get a nostalgia hit from having that again, or was it just not really all that for you?
Probably not. Like, only because I don't think I would like. I liked it. I enjoyed playing it. I thought it was like, oh great, I can play this game because I'm here. But apart from that, it never like stuck to me. I used to watch the cartoons, the Sonic cartoons and stuff when they came out.
I loved the Sonic cartoons.
But so it's very much a part of my childhood, but it never. It's not something that I carried with me into sort of like adulthood, where I if a new game came out, I would be like all over it.
I'm just saying, Sonic Superstars is meant to be 4-person multiplayer co-op stream when it comes out. Mirror gaming co-op stream when it comes out. I'm just saying, hopefully we can. We'll have to ask Nathan when he gets back.
We'll say, yeah.
Because I think that'd be fun. The whole thing I love about Sonic games is being lost, leaving people behind, and it's really, even though it's not meant to be a frustrating game, I always find a way to be frustrated. So I think that'd make an absolutely fantastic stream.
Yeah, I mean, I'd definitely be up for playing it, but yeah, it wasn't a source of, like, for me, like, nostalgia would be like Alec the Kid. Or Alex the Kid.
Alex the Kid?
Alex the Kid, I think it was. Or Alec the Kid.
That's
that was like the first game out on Sega Master System.
Sega's mascot before Sonic.
Yeah.
I didn't know they even had a mascot before Sonic.
But
I have specific memories about that game. Like,
I feel like I need to Google that right now, actually.
It was great. It was the best. The level on the motorbike was just so cool. Loved it.
Oh my
going
god,
through the
Alex
volcano.
Kidd! Oh my god, no, I do know this. I played this on the Sega Mega Drive. Yeah, I hated it.
Like when it first came out, it was like inbuilt into the Master System or something. I remember my dad
Was he a
bringing it home.
person?
And what my dad? Yeah, he was a
No!
real person.
Alex the Kid. I always thought he was a monkey.
He was a person. He was like a little dude.
He's a person.
Yeah.
But they gave him such big ears.
Huge hair, I think it was. And like
No,
big
he's
ears.
got really
yeah.
big ears. I remember he's got huge. I thought he was from like Super Monkey Ball Banana Blitz. I think he's one of those characters.
Nah, he's no.
Oh my god,
He's the OG. He's the OG.
To be fair, I was like probably 2 years old. So
that was that's like my Sega nostalgia character. Where if they brought out a game right now, I've got to play.
They brought it out in
I've got to
2021
play it.
apparently. Alex Kidd in Miracle World DX. Did you play that?
I didn't play that because I wouldn't really
That'll be a remake of the
listen
one you
into.
played.
You what?
That'll be a remake of the one you played.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
Oh, he's telling you.
it's telling me.
Hint. Go and play it.
So Sega definitely the best at show in Gamescom. Like they had a lot of good stuff there. I saw 5 of their games. I saw Sonic. I saw Like a Dragon, which we have a preview of, and I got to interview the studio's producer, which will be up sometime this week, hopefully. That was pretty cool. Persona 5 Tactics, which again we have a write up. Pretty good. Some Persona
mirror.co.uk/gaming. You can find a whole bunch of Gamescom previews up there from both Scott and Aaron Potter, who isn't here this week. They did a bunch of previews at Gamescom. So if you are interested in any of the games that we've been speaking about, they probably have previewed it already and have got proper big full-length write-ups of all of them over at our website. So be sure to check those out if you are interested.
There's the Persona 3 remake. Persona 3 remake, which is write-up is going up later tonight, so I don't remember for that. And finally, another expert segue, because I'm so good at this. I played Hyenas, which is their extraction shooter from Creative Assembly, which Jasmine probably has something written down to read off. So
what I do have written down is Hyenas is a new extraction shooter coming from Creative Assembly. The open beta for it is coming very soon. It is going to be PC only, unfortunately, for console players. But it's a new multiplayer extraction shooter. And what I do have written down is that Scott did a preview of it. Scott isn't a fan of multiplayer games typically, even though he said a little bit ago that he plays some of them. Typically, he's not a fan of them. But from what I've read about your preview, you seem to actually enjoy Hyenas. Do you want to go into it a bit more? What did you think of the game? What is it about? Is it worth me jumping into the open beta? Give me all of it. Give me the full rundown.
So it's a closed beta, unfortunately, but
it's a closed beta. Sorry.
Yeah. I haven't played any extraction shooters. I never played DMZ. I've never played Tarkov. I've never played Hunt Showdown. So this is all very new to me. But it's just it feels nice, I guess. And I know this is such a weird, broad statement to say, but it feels nice to play. You know.
Did you not play Payday?
Is that the same thing?
It's similar, no? It's an extraction shootery style.
Payday is not like PvP though. I get what you're saying.
Oh yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I guess not.
Yeah, it's story driven, isn't it?
Yeah, I know, but it feels the same. It feels like you're extracting the money from the safe. You know, that's what most extraction shooters feel like. But anyway,
it's like teams are free. It's set on Mars, and you're robbing billionaires. So the main mechanics are kind of
what's not to like.
Yeah, I love that.
The main mechanic they kind of show up is like a zero gravity thing. So you can each room has like a. Oh no, sorry, I'm trying to remember because it's been about a week now since I played it.
It's been a week now. Scott doesn't remember anymore. He's got too much going on.
So some rooms will just be 0G, and it's not like a floating about it. It's like you will propel yourself to like certain spots. But you can like turn it on in some rooms. I believe one of the characters has the ability to just turn it on in the room. And that's the kind of main mechanic. But it's like teams of free. I think it's like 5 teams maybe. And you go in and you can like you have to break into vaults. You steal merch, which is like, I believe a Sonic statue was one of the main ones we stole. It's hard to like describe a multiplayer game sometimes because like there's such a core look to it, and like the gunplay feels nice. It's got a personality, which a lot of games, Call of Duty, don't have.
Yeah, tell him. Matt's
So,
about
like,
to get really upset that you said that.
Your character classes.
No, I agree.
Are, like,
It's a horrible game.
I only get to play 2 of them. I played as someone who cosplays as Sonic the Hedgehog and has like loads of Sonic the Hedgehog and tails and all that plushies on him.
Is that not literally just like yourself in the game?
Very much. And then I played as one who wears, in Point Break, which is maybe before your time. They go into the bank and they rob the bank with all the president masks. Yeah, there's like one that has like the Richard Nixon mask. I don't know if it's like an official licensed Richard Nixon likeness mask, but there's one holding wearing a Richard Nixon mask. It's like we got like a presentation beforehand, like how when you go to like Alton Towers and you go into or like Universal and you go into the ride and they've got the like pre-show room where they show you like a video. Yeah, we had that at the demo, which was not something.
Feels like you're about to get on a roller coaster. That's so bizarre.
Yeah. So it's like it has a personality, I guess, but I am concerned because obviously it's a crowded market how it will do. But I hope it does well because I actually did really like what I played.
That's exactly what I was about to throw out to Matt, who is a big shooter fan. I know you're big on your Warzone and Call of Duty titles, and I know you played a fair bit of X Defiant when that was in beta.
Yeah.
Do you think, from what you've heard and seen about Hyenas so far, that it's going to compete, or do you think it's going to be another one of those shooters? I don't know what's happened to X Defiant, but it feels like it's just kind of dropped off the radar. No one's speaking about it anymore. Is it going to be another situation like that? What's happening?
I think we were still waiting for it to come out.
Yeah, but people don't feel excited for it anymore.
I think there's some people, the people that played it enjoyed it, and I think now we're just waiting for it to come out, so there's nothing to talk about. Like,
I guess
very
so.
much like that. There's nothing new. We're not hearing like we're changing this. We're doing like there's nothing crazy going on.
Fair enough. I take that back. Then that was an unnecessary shot. My bad.
Yeah, kind of. So it's just we're waiting for it to come out. Like, we played it, we all like it. It's and I think it is a bit of a crowded market, but it's like I feel like there's like a lot of experimentation going on with extraction shooters at the moment. There's loads of stuff that people are sort of looking forward to in the back of their minds and waiting to hear more about. Like can't remember what it's called now. It's Dr. Disrespect's game, Midnight Society game. I can't remember what it's called. It's called Dead Drop, I think, or something.
Does it involve chasing people into toilets and filming them, or?
No.
Okay, no need.
No
need.
And that's basically like, people are waiting for that. That's like the next. They feel like is going to be the next like major evolution in extraction shooters. So I kind of think that this one might be enjoyable for a time, but I don't think it will have a long life. It'll be some potentially. I mean, it might do. You never know, like, because it just depends if everybody just enjoy. Like, Scott's saying it's got a great personality, or it's got a personality, or and that might be something that is enough to draw people in. But generally, with these games, I always think it's until the next good thing comes along, until the next best thing comes along. And
even
then people
in the realm
move on
of
from it.
shooters in general, even not extraction shooters, there are so many different shooters, and I feel like a lot of people who play shooters don't play them for the specific style of shooters. It's just because it's a shooter. Like, the people that play Warzone and Fortnite probably also transfer over to playing games like Valorant, even though they're two completely different games. Just because
you can always
when you're good at a
tell when
shooter,
the Valorant
you'll be good at another one.
you can always tell when someone who's playing Valorant plays Call of Duty more because they always jump, like they're always jumping about, like.
Yeah, you can see them jumping and they run and gun a lot as well.
Yeah. You
What
can always
needs to
tell.
happen? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No. I was done.
What needs to happen is the people get their game and then they're stuck there. Like, people need to just stop playing the bad ones like Overwatch or Warzone that are continuously getting terrible and terrible. You know, they just need to
Do you know what?
move
I play a
on.
lot of Overwatch, and I actually, it's my main game since Overwatch 2 has come out, and I've tried to stop playing it because I'm not enjoying it, but I still do play it. But to be completely honest with you, hands up right now, I actually don't know what the reason is why I don't enjoy it. And I actually don't know why it's a bad game. I can sit here and be like, yeah, Overwatch is terrible. I hate it so much. I still play it all the time. And I don't actually know what's terrible about it. I'm just not enjoying it. And I think maybe that's the reason why people get stuck in this loop with playing these types of games. Because I was the same with Valorant 2 years ago. When Valorant first came out, I got stuck on it for hundreds of hours. And I hated it. And I couldn't tell you why I didn't like it. And maybe that's just me.
I feel like with shooters, it's always the small details that either pull you towards it or push you away from it.
Because I know you've got quite a bit of dislike for Warzone now, but I'm sure you still play it.
Yeah, and like there's still a lot of things that I like about it, but there's a lot of things that I don't like about it. So my ability to have an enjoyable session on it, whereas before I could play it for like 3-4 hours and have a good time the whole time, now it's like lucky if it's 30 minutes before I start getting just like, why am I playing this, and then turn it off. But there's a feeling that is why I like Warzone or Call of Duty in general. It's a feeling about the game, like in terms of the mechanics and the way that it plays and feels to me. But then there's everything else that surrounds it that I just don't like. And then obviously with like Modern Warfare 2 and Warzone 2, they changed the mechanics massively, which was just too much of a change to a fundamental part of the reason why I liked it. So with shooters, it's so much about like the small details, like what do the mechanics feel like, how's the gunplay feel, does it feel accurate, does it feel fair, like does it
I don't think I've ever played a single shooter where the gunplay
is it fast
felt
enough
fair.
Like there's certain shooters out there that I think are really good that I like, but again, they don't have the modes that I would enjoy playing. Like Shatterline is one of my favorite shooters, but I can't have long sessions on it because it's just a multiplayer. Bit like X Defiant, I can't have a long session on it because it's just a multiplayer that has
I think
like a couple of
benefit
different
from a battle royale.
some kind of mini resurgence. I would like that's personally like me, just a small like kind of mini resurgence, like just in there that people can play if they want, or they can play the rest of the multiplayer modes. But it's just these same modes we've had on repeat over and over and over again, and they get boring. So if the small details aren't right, it's really easy to get to play it for a bit and go, nah, it's not fun. Don't like this, you know, I've got no feeling towards it. So it depends. Like if there's some new stuff in there and it feels like, you know, fun and it's enjoyable to play and the gunplay's good, the mechanics are good, and there's not
requirements.
Yeah, well, I just feel like these games are like all about those little things. It's not necessarily like are the mechanics the best they could possibly be. It's more like do they feel good? They don't have to be the best. They just have to feel right for that game. And I feel like Fortnite does that quite well, and Call of Duty up until Warzone 2 did that quite well.
You know what game we need to all play? Foam Stars, which I don't have the time to talk about now, but Foam Stars, everyone was
Give us a
negative
30-second
about it.
rundown quick.
everyone was negative about it when it was announced. Everyone was like, "Oh, it's just a Splatoon ripoff." No, Foam Stars is so much fun. Foam Stars might have been my favorite thing I played at Gamescom. You need to look at Foam Stars when it comes out.
I don't like Splatoon.
I don't like Splatoon either. It's good.
He's got me there. He's done me there.
Yeah.
I'll give it a go. Yeah, I'll take the recommendation.
It doesn't play like Splatoon. Like, it's not, you need to put as much foam on the ground as possible. This is like a proper multiplayer game. They have like Gears of War mode where you have to like get like 7 kills, then you have to protect your like randomly assigned leader. Amazing. Love that mode than anything, but Foam Stars, surprisingly good. Might have been the best thing I played. Couldn't get.
You spoke really fast. I'm actually proud of you. You actually got a good rundown there in that last 30 seconds. And with that lovely quick fire Foam Stars review, that brings us to the end of this week's Mirror Gaming walkthrough. We, as in Mirror Gaming, will be back this Friday with a Starfield early access stream from the lovely Nathan Bliss, who will still be on holiday, but is coming in on his holiday to stream that game because he's so excited about it. What on earth is wrong with him? But if you want to see more of us, we will be back again next week with another episode of the Mirror Gaming walkthrough every Wednesday at 4 p.m. BST. Be sure to subscribe to the channel to get notifications for when we post videos and go live. It'd be nice to see you guys here again soon. Thank you so much for joining us. I've been Jasmine and this has been Matt and Scott. Thank you guys for being here, and we will see you guys in the next stream. Bye.